Okay, we're going to look at problem 49 to help us understand 50 and 52. And this is like the last example that we did today that was causing a little bit of confusion, so I want to go back over that. The directions say use the graph of y is equal to f of x, and they actually want us to put in 1 over x. They want us to use this graph to find what the limit is as x approaches infinity and as x approaches negative infinity. So they want us to take this function to help us figure out what the limit is of this function as it approaches infinity. So our goal is to find the limit as x approaches infinity of x e to the x, and the limit as x approaches infinity, negative infinity, of x e to the x. But we are not going to use that function. We are going to use this function. We're going to plug in 1 over x and see what happens. When I plug in 1 over x, I'm going to get 1 over x e to the 1 over x. The instructions say to use your calculator, so you're going to take that function and put it in your calculator, and you're going to look at it and see what happens to it. But when we look at this modified equation, we're actually going to look at the limit as it approaches 0 from both sides. So that's what we're looking at, and it's going to help us find this one, the main problem, at infinity and negative infinity. So once you put this equation right here, I'm going to put it in a different color, maybe make it show up. We're going to look at this equation in the calculator. I'm going to flip over. Now we're looking at this equation in the calculator. Now we're looking at the limit as x approaches 0, both from the negative and the positive side. So we're going to do it from the positive side, and we do it from the positive side. That's like the positive infinity. And that means that we're going to come in this direction to 0, and we look at where this graph is going. This graph is going to infinity. It's going to infinity. And then we need to look at the limit as x approaches negative 0 from the other side. So we come in from the other side, and we see that this graph is going to 0. So what does this mean? This means that this function is going from infinity to 0. Well, that means the original problem, as we take the limit as it approaches infinity, this one is going to 0. Because the other one, actually it went to infinity, sorry. It went to infinity. Let's go back and look. See, this one went to infinity, so therefore this one is going to infinity. We're looking at this one as it goes to 0 on the other side, and it's going to 0. So that means that this one, as it approaches negative infinity, goes to 0. I hope that helps. That's a lot less confusing than us earlier trying to put 1 over 1 of x. And that ended up being x, but that was confusing, but this isn't so bad.